first of all, Asta, thank you so much for coming to this screening. He just happened to be on holiday and he saw we were screening the film and he said, "Would you mind coming by?" And of course not. We, love having films such as this playing here and having people here to talk about them. So, well, first of all, perhaps in terms of this film being inspired by your experiences, perhaps you might want to start with how the filmmakers heard about your story and how it developed from there.
Yeah. Thanks for welcoming me. It's a beautiful venue, and thank you for coming to watch the film. I produced a documentary on the BBC in 2007 that showed three guys go on a road trip to lose their virginity in a Spanish brothel, and the documentary was shown in Belgium, and then the Belgian producer got in touch with me and said, "Can we do a film about your idea, and we'd like to make you the executive producer." And yeah, it's gone from there really. And the reason why I started on the mission was because my friend died of muscular dystrophy without ever having an intimate experience with another human being. So that kind of really drove me to do what I'm doing now. And I'm really passionate about it. And we've since won 33 awards for the film all over the world. Our latest award is the Audience Award at the European Film Awards. It's the equivalent to the Oscars in America. We've just signed a remake in Hollywood for the film, so it's just, it kind of goes on and on and on really, and it's just, me and my family always say that it's taken on its own wings. It's just flying on its own.
The film has been on release in the UK and Ireland for about a month now. And for different Q&As you've been to, I presume you've done a few with the film. Have you seen different responses from different places, different countries, different areas to the film?
I think the biggest, most rapturous response was France. We were stood behind the projector screen while the credits were going up, and then we came out onto the stage, and people literally just flung themselves out of the chairs, and we thought we were going to all have heart failure or something, but it was amazing, and there was a big French director there, Claude Lelouch, and but every reaction around the world has been amazing to the film. People have said to me, "Oh, have you seen the film Sessions?" And I said, "Yeah, I've seen it," but obviously this doesn't even kind of skim on the surface of Sessions. It's groundbreaking and unique in its own way, and we've just by the awards as well, it's flown in every country.
Well, actually, it's interesting what you just brought up there in terms of the previous depictions on the screen, these kind of characters and such. I mean, once you heard that they were interested in making a film, you really delighted that you were going to be able to present how you felt this should be dealt with, rather than the way it's been kind of maybe treated in cinema previously?
Yeah, absolutely. I think every program or documentary or movie you seem to see that is concerning disability, it's always got Coldplay behind it, or it's got
oh no.
All right, yeah. It's always got violins behind it, and I don't lead my life at all like that. I lead my life like any other quote-unquote normal human being, and for me, for everyone around the world needs to see this film, because it's such a concept-changing film. Me as a human being, I'm able to give the same love back as anyone else, as any other human being, so everyone needs to see that, and I think it's just people being aware, that's all. And there should be no barriers in human life whatsoever. That's how wars start, and that's how, people don't love each other, because we don't love each other as human beings enough.
Quickly, just to touch back on the film adaptation of real life experiences, how did you feel the scripted characters related to the real life counterparts?
First of all, I'm nothing like Philip. Let's just get that clear. But I think the three actors did an amazing job to say they're not even disabled themselves. They're all able-bodied actors, and they did a massive amount of research into the parts. And Philip spent a week in a wheelchair, and he was amazed to see how much people stared at him on the streets and stuff. So, yeah, I think they did a fantastic job, and we spent like a year and a half looking for three guys with real disabilities. But it's really tough because finding someone with a disability that can act and finding someone with a disability who can speak Flemish and act really well, it's just near on impossible. So we had to think, well, are we going to make an amazing film that portrays an amazing message with three great actors, or are we going to keep on struggling and finding, trying to find people with disabilities? And, in the end we had to go with the first option, but, I don't think I think we made the right decision completely, because they were amazing. And they've won awards for their acting in that film as well, so it shows.
Perhaps you'd like to speak on in regards to some of the active kind of causes and ways of awareness and things you're involved in. Perhaps you.
Yeah, living in England, it's really tough to speak about like sex and disability, because sex is a taboo anyway, and people can't talk about sex. But when you mix disability with sex, it's like, whoa, don't even go there. So I had to kind of come up with this ingenious plan in how to convert the language to English people so they wouldn't get shocked. So we've just launched a campaign called Intimacy for All, and that looks at campaigning and discussing with government to introduce intimacy for people with disabilities. And it's not just about the sexual side, it's about the human touch. I like a hug as much as anyone else, so that's what we're campaigning for at the moment, and we're looking at opening different therapy centres throughout the UK that enable people with disabilities to have intimate experiences that are government supported, not government paid for, but government supported. So, we don't have to struggle, and no one with a disability or a social disability has to struggle in life, because people with disabilities have enough to deal with already. So, yeah, that's what we're doing. And I've got the Asta Foundation as well, that basically helps the same thing, but that also supports me travelling around and speaking to people in different countries and just helping people to feel grateful to be alive, because that's what I do every day. Every day I thank God that I'm alive, and it's just amazing, and I wouldn't swap me for the world. So I like to help and portray that message to other people as far as I can.
Thank you very much for that. Would anybody in the audience like to maybe ask some questions? We'll open up to kind of a Q&A now, if we can.
Don't hold back. Hi.
Hi there. I heard you on the radio the other day. It was a really nice interview.
Thank you.
I just wanted to ask, when you made the original BBC documentary, which I'm sorry I haven't seen, was it very difficult to find people who were willing to allow you film with them such a private, I suppose, journey and experience? Because you mentioned that it's difficult to talk about sex and disability in the UK, but in Ireland it's probably even more difficult.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah, it was really difficult at first. I posted on forums and stuff that I was going to make this documentary, and at first, people thought I was advertising for some kind of porn film or something. Because, I'll tell you how the disabled community split. It's 50-50. You got 50% that are Paralympian side and my side who are kind of, let's just get on with life and go for it. And then you've got the other 50% where they want to be wrapped in cotton wool, and they don't want their private lives dug into whatsoever. And that's not no fault of their own, it's how they've been brought up in institute. So yeah, it was really difficult. We searched high and low, and at one point we thought it wasn't going to happen, the documentary, because of this. But luckily, two guys came out of the woodwork, and it was amazing. It gave an incredible twist to the documentary as well. I won't spoil it if you haven't seen it, but yeah.
Is it online somewhere?
Yeah, it's on my website, astaphilpot.co.uk. Thank you.
Any more questions?
Did I know it was going to be made in Hollywood?
No. Who's going to play?
Oh, I don't know. I can't say. You'll know soon enough. I'm sure the Irish press will be splattering it around. Very soon it'll be announced. Exciting though, really exciting.
I was just wondering, did the film stick very close to the facts of what actually happened? Was much of it, it was just made?
Yeah, it did. It was. Yeah.
Very true to it.
Yeah, 70%. Yeah, it was. They did a cracking job in the balance. Actually, the writer always says when he does Q&As that usually it's really kind of hard to write a script, but he says this was really easy because the story was already there. So, and I'm glad as well. I'm glad, being the executive producer and being on set and filming with them. It's just to see my story unravel into a movie was amazing, and yeah, I'm glad they stuck with the story. They were going to change it as well from like some other name from Asta La Vista. I was like, no, you keep it as Asta La Vista.
Oh, a few.
Do you have any plans to make any more documentaries or go further down this road? Or are you going to see how far this one?
I've always got ideas to make documentaries, always. And I think they're always around kind of positive living and stuff like that. But I think the whole world as a whole needs to open up on the sex subject. I think we're far too introvert because have you ever found that people are always different on the outside, but then when they go home and they close the doors on the other side, it's completely different. So I need people to start living for really who they are instead of being something they're not. So that's kind of where I'm going down at the moment, and I think there's interest in me and my family's life story as a movie as well. So we're just developing that at the moment. So yeah, thank you.
I was just wondering, like, what are the legal restrictions in the UK, around facilitated sex in terms of even having the right to travel and needing a PA to come with you? Are there any kind of legal barriers, or is it more of a societal thing?
I think it gets more complicated when a person with a disability is in, say, like a care home or something. There was a story that broke out in the UK not so long ago that I was on TV and the radio about, that residents of a care home, so people with disabilities, had called escorts in, and some members of staff helped facilitate calling the escorts and stuff, and there was a whole uproar with it with the council and stuff like that. But you know what, at the end of the day, it's just going to keep going and going and going. And if because it broke out in the news in Ireland that they wanted to start criminalising it, well, what the hell's going to happen when it gets criminalised? It's just going to get worse and worse and worse. So they really need to look at this thing and actually deal with it in a proper way and clean it up and help people that want to work in it. So yeah, England's just as bad. I can't speak for Ireland, but I can imagine. But it's the whole thing about religion as well. It's crazy, absolutely crazy. People say one thing and then other things are happening. So
There was somebody down. Another question?
I was just wondering, what was the family's reaction when they first heard you were making the film, and then what was their reaction to
my family.
the families of all the characters in the film, your own family and your friend's family?
Did you mean the actors' families?
Well, you know, the characters that your friends.
In the documentary?
Yeah.
Oh, right, yeah.
When they heard it was being made, first of all, was there any resistance to the documentary being made? And then when it was made?
Yeah, I think, have you seen the documentary? There's me, a blind guy and a paraplegic, and the blind guy's mum was quite shocked because she didn't even realise that he was having relationship problems, or the fact that he couldn't get a relationship, or no one was looking at him as a human being, and she actually broke down on the film because of that reason. And I think Shah, the paraplegic, his parents were just like, yeah, you know, do what you need to do and explore your body since your accident and stuff. So, and my parents are fully supportive and yeah, always have been, and you know, always will be of anything I want to do. But you know, since the film, since like the documentary and stuff, you know, I've had a relationship and I'm currently in a relationship. So I think documentaries and films actually go a massive long way into educating people. And to answer your question, how were the reaction after the film? I'm not actually sure. I didn't hear how they felt, but you know, I didn't hear anything bad, so that was a good sign. And the blind guy got a relationship as well, so.
Well, I'm afraid for time restrictions, we'll have to call it a day there, but thank you so much for joining us, and can we also give one more round of applause?